Hey everyone, how's it going? It's been a minute, and with that being said, I know this isn't the content you guys were expecting me to upload, but what can I say? Hunting season just got away from me, and truth be told, I was just mainly focused on helping my son fill his mentor to youth tag, which he thankfully did. Super proud of him. That is actually his buck. We just got that thing back today. I have it hung up, letting it kind of cure. We're supposed to let it cure for a week or two before I can wrap it up and give it to him on Christmas. But he doesn't know we have it, and it came out great. I think he's going to be stoked. Super proud of him. But yeah, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is I had some problems this season, and I was able to trace those back to one piece of equipment, and I want to talk about that. Let me preface this by saying I made this purchase based off of my previous experience with this company's products, and also based off of YouTube reviews. That was the main driving factor. And every YouTube video I watched reviewing this rangefinder just talked about how amazing it was, and all it was singing praise. And that rangefinder was the Maven RF.1. And spoiler alert, I am not happy with this. Let me start off by saying I have 3 rangefinders sitting here. I own all 3 of these. This was my original rangefinder. I actually bought this rangefinder to replace that one. The only reason I wanted to replace this one is it is a SIG Kilo 2000 Shadow. So this came out in 2016. That's when I bought it. I paid $250 for it. And it can't range trees past 1,000 yards. And I want to shoot targets past that. But it's a very fast, to this day, I mean, this thing's fast on getting you a number. I mean, it's a fast rangefinder. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe the reviews I seen for this were skewed. Maybe I got just a bunk model, you know? Quality control can be an issue with any matter of products. You know, it's bound to happen somewhere, and maybe that's my issue. Maybe I just got a bad one. But this guy is not what I wish I would have spent my money on. Let's start with the obvious things. I'm going to start from the very get-go. When they ship you a Maven RF1, it comes in a box in a silk bag that says Maven all over it, and that's it. You don't get a lanyard, you don't get a pouch, you don't get any of that stuff. That wasn't a deal breaker for me. I didn't really care about that. Now, the part that I didn't realize was that this guy it's a thick boy, you know? Let's look at it compared to my other 3. This is a Kilo 8K ABS, and it is slightly taller than it, definitely wider, and it's certainly taller than the 2K, and way wider as well. So that brings to issue number 1 is the size of it, which I was able to, willing to look past. The next issue I had with it that people talked about loving was the fact that it comes with a mount for a tripod. Now, I don't utilize that. That either my spotting scope's on my tripod or my gun is. But you'll never see my rangefinder on it. I don't have 3 tripods. I don't want to pack 3 tripods. This thing sits in a pouch on the side of my bino harness so I can whip it out and get a range. You know? So the tripod mount was really not a selling point for me. Now I will tell you this. You're going to need that if you want to get an accurate, I should say halfway accurate range out of this guy. You're going to need to use the rangefinder on a tripod. Nobody told me that. None of the videos that I seen said, hey, put this thing on a tripod or you're not going to know exactly what you're ranging. Because it takes time to get a range back from between when you click it, you're not ever sure if you're ranging a bush, a rock, a tree, the animal that you were aiming at, or what. It's just, and at 400 yards, it's not really a big deal. But if you're ranging something at 1,000 or God forbid farther, that inaccuracy can add feet. So that's my main issue with this rangefinder. I've got a few more that we're going to talk about, but that inability to really freehand this thing is a problem. Now, I talked about the size of it. Let me show you what I mean. Now, I don't archery hunt, but if I did, and I was running this rangefinder in a pouch, the last thing I would want is for this thing to hang up going in or to hang up coming out of the pouch. Now, I can't blame Marsupial for that. That's who made this pouch. I had to buy this to fit that specifically. But what I can blame that on is the dimness knob. Now, why a rangefinder that is being in production currently in 2025 still has this giant knob on the side to adjust when this rangefinder's older brother, the actual Kilo 2000 that came out in 2015, had auto dimming reticle for around the same price point even after inflation that this one has now. 10 years ago, just blows me out of the water. Which people did comment about the knob, but you don't think about how that's going to impact you until you actually have it in your hand and you got to fight it in and out of the rangefinder pouch. So that's issue number 3, we'll call it. I will give Maven this. The glass in this thing is amazing. It is way nicer than the 8K ABS, which is over double the price of this rangefinder. It is good glass. Let's not skim over where this does shine, because glass is something that it does amazing. And the ruggedness of this thing is it's pretty good, I would say. So there's that. But all the other downfalls really, it puts me in a position where for the $500 I paid for this rangefinder, there were way better options in that price point. And if I had to choose between these two rangefinders to take on a hunt tomorrow morning, I'm picking the Kilo 2000. And I know that sounds crazy because that can't range animals past 800 yards, and assuming that was important to you, it's just more reliable and faster. Never have I had a problem ranging an animal with this rangefinder, and I had 7 or 8 different times that this rangefinder this season let me down. I've had this since 2016. This thing has beat around in my pack, it's beat around in my truck, it's beat around on my bino harness. I've dropped it. It's gotten wet. I fell face first into a creek with this thing on, and here she is. Never been back to SIG. There's no water intrusion. Still just chirping along. And this guy can't give me a decent range on an animal after 10 months. it couldn't give me a decent range during my spring bear tag, to be honest with you. And it was 2 months old at that point, and I'd used it probably 6 times. So I guess the point of this video is to make people aware that I don't know how these rangefinders got the quality of reviews that they got. I don't know if people's standards for rangefinders are different than mine, or my expectations were just too high, or what. But I really wish somebody would have just said, hey, these are all the flaws. There they are, laid bare for everybody to know. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have one of these, how it works. If you have problems with it, I'm really interested to know if I got just a bum one. With that being said, I really hope that you guys are able to glean some info from this, and it helps you make an educated decision. I got some more content in the works. I've got a budget rifle build for my son. It's super budget build, actually. I'll be posting that. And then after that, I have a chassis comparison that I'm going to do. Just talking about the differences between some of the, I guess, the more expensive chassis versus the budget-oriented chassis, and the differences between the two. And comparing the differences between the more expensive with the other more expensive. So look forward to making those and getting those up, and hopefully you guys enjoy those as well. I'm probably going to do some Predator stuff this winter. I'm hoping to do some Predator stuff this winter and filming it. I don't know if that's actually going to pan out. I do know I'm going to be doing the budget rifle build video for sure. And I'm definitely doing the comparison of the chassis. But as far as like hunting content, it's up in the air right now. But I do want to make that. So if you guys just ride with me on it, we'll get there, I promise. Just give me time. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and keep an eye out for the next one. Have a good one. See you guys later.